Hello everyone. I'm bringing you another video. This time it's an audio. I'm not showing my face today. But my topic today is R. Kelly's sister, who was the molester. Now, what I wanted to talk about today is the fact that I heard on YouTube on a couple of videos with Tasha K, and she had R. Kelly's brother on. And he did actually from his mouth, the horse's mouth. I'm not going to talk about anything that I haven't heard from the horse's mouth because I don't want anyone to think that I am actually saying that I approve or that I agree or anything like that. I'm only going from the horse's mouth. And R. Kelly's brother said that his sister molested him, and also he's sure that she molested R. Kelly as well. Now, in some other videos, I heard R. Kelly saying he was molested by a family member, but he didn't identify who that person was. But now his brother said he was very sure that it was his sister. So my audio right now is talking about the sister that was the molester. If we are going to go after child molesters, let's just open up a whole big can of worms and start from the very beginning. Um, she should be arrested as well as R. Kelly. And the reason why, I don't know if there's a statute of limitation when these molesters are molesting children out here or not, or in that state. I understand that she molested him from the age of 6 years old, and R. Kelly, maybe I heard another time, 8 years old. So why don't they look at her? Why don't they look at her? Because I feel that she's the beginning of all this madness. All this madness, turning a kid on to sexual behavior before this kid, which was R. Kelly and his brother, develop their own minds, develop their own, let them get into the world and experience having little girlfriends, going to school, dating. She took away their rights from the very beginning. Now, that's what you call brainwashing. Like they was saying that R. Kelly brainwashed these last two ladies that are with him. His sister brainwashed them to not even tell. So I think that these attorneys that are looking into the case, this attorney should open up that big can of worms, which he did say now. He did say that he's going to go after all these other people that aided R. Kelly, but I didn't hear him say he was going to go after this sister who started the whole thing from a child, a baby that didn't know anything about sex, and this sister molested them, put it in their mind, gave them sexual arousement, taught them what sex was all about. And I have a couple of friends that have worked at CPS, the Child Protective Services. And normally, when these kids get molested like that in their minds, sometimes they think that stuff is okay. Because there was one girl that worked for CPS, and actually, she was like over the facility. She said that one child was wanting sex. I want sex. I want sex. I want sex. Just screaming and hollering for sex. This is horrific. So I'm not going to keep talking about it. All I know is that they should arrest her. Actually, I would have went at her before I got R. Kelly. I would have went at her first, especially when you hear the talk that she did it. Okay? I would have went at her. Go at all these molesters. Don't just stop at R. Kelly. It had to be some beginning to all this madness for a man to think that that could possibly be okay with these alleged victims, if that was the case. I mean, who am I to judge? I don't know anything about it. I wasn't there. All I'm saying is that I did hear from the horse's mouth that his sister, who was 10 years or so older than them, molested them when they were babies. Babies. And I've had people that I know personally that's worked with CPS that when these kids are molested, they think this stuff is okay in their minds. So it really damages the mind of a child growing up. And if you look in their eyes, you could see sickness. and confusion. So let's go at her, the original molester who started all of this madness. And so everyone has to pay, not just R. Kelly. Let's go at the root of the situation. Let's arrest her and let her get out on bond and let her go to court and let's take care of that. So, like I said, it's a lot of molesters out here, and they need to open up the whole big can of worms. All these molesters in Hollywood that have had these young girls and running in and out of their dressing wardrobe rooms and hotel rooms. And I mean, if you open up this stuff, it's crazy out here. It's crazy. So let's go after all of these molesters, including R. Kelly's sister, who is and was a molester. Let's go after her because she started this whole big mad mess to a child, to hurt a child and to make a child think having sex at 6 or 8 years old is okay. Now that's a real molester. So some of the people, I know how you feel about R. Kelly, and but it's more to it than just R. Kelly. It's a lot of other people, a lot of parents that aided R. Kelly with all this molestation stuff, allegedly, because I don't know. But let's go after the original molester who started the stuff, put sex in the brains and the mind of a child. That's called brainwashing. They're saying R. Kelly brainwashed these two adult women, and I still say that they can get away like the other ones did, but they chose to stay there. But brainwashing was when they really brainwashed this sister, R. Kelly's sister, brainwashed those kids and had them scared to tell their mother. I heard his brother talking on Tasha K's YouTube all about it, and it was a horrific story. I couldn't hardly keep listening to that madness. I mean, that would be the person to really hit first, hit home first, and then start from A all the way down to Z. And then it will be equal and just. And the courts, a lot of people say, well, you say let the courts handle it. Well, the only reason I say let the courts handle it because we can't handle it. The public can't handle it. It still has to go through the court of law. And they're saying, well, the courts put a lot of people in jail that are innocent. Well, yes, they do. But also, they have a lot of people that are in jail that have molested and raped people as well as robbed banks and everything else as well. And I do think it's more of that than it is them doing the wrong. And even if it's wrong, then God will make it right because what's in the dark will come to the light. If the court system fails someone, now you have people that are advocates that helps and go and get people out of jail that have been in jail for false reasons. I have a brother that he went to jail, and he told me that that last time he went to jail, he went for the wrong reason. He swear to this day that he didn't do that crime, but it was some other crimes that he did that he probably didn't get caught with. So sometimes we'll say, well, they put him in there for the wrong thing. But actually, if you get caught up in that type of system, it's something that a person probably had did previous, way in the past, and it just came back to bite them in the butt. So you never can get away with wrong. I don't care how you look at it. And that's why I'm saying R. Kelly's sister, she was wrong. That's brainwashing. That because these were kids, they were not grown women like these two women that with R. Kelly. They were these kids were babies, and a sister molested them that was way older than them. So that should be looked at. I don't know what that age difference was, but that still should be looked at because she still molested a child, two children that I understand, and they didn't even tell their mother because their minds had been tormented, their minds had been on sex, their minds had been open up to sex. They didn't get a chance to even grow up. So everything they probably saw, well, at least the brother, he said that he knew better than to even try to think about young girls. But some people minds and brains are different. So maybe it affected him in a different way than it did R. Kelly. But R. Kelly has to pay, the sister have to pay, whoever did wrong has to pay, if indeed R. Kelly's case was true. If they can prove it, then he would have to pay. That sister, I just don't know what to say. I really don't. Because I couldn't imagine somebody raping my child at no 8 years old and turning them on to sex. And then now they're looking at the news with their brother in trouble for sex. I couldn't live with myself. I really couldn't. To molest somebody and then you looking at your own brother or a child, period, any child. That is so horrific to me. But anyway, I'm going to end my story. But let's get all the other molesters and let's start looking at some of these other people out here in Hollywood. Let's focus around town. Let's just not stop right there with R. Kelly. We have a whole lot of work to do to clean this madness up from the White House down to the poorhouse. So let's be real about it. Let's not stop with R. Kelly. Let's open up the can of worms and let the law, the attorneys, they should go after all of the molesters, all that are involved, all these other Hollywood people. If they just announce on TV, if anybody been molested in Hollywood, call me. I guarantee you'll get a lot of calls, and we'll just see how many more other than R. Kelly that it really is out here. And it's allegedly, but I know a lot of these parents, they knew that these kids were going around these grown people. We couldn't do it. My parents would not allow us to. Matter of fact, when company came over and they were mature people, we would have to go to the back room. My mother would go, you better get out of here. This is grown folks talk. You get in the back room. You don't be standing around no men. And oh my God, they was on us. And it was 8 of us. And I'm like, oh my God, they really on us. They on us like white on rice. So I can't see that anybody would leave a child in the hands of a man for fame or whatever, and then something happens down the line. I feel like that parent is at fault because people in their right mind wouldn't let their kid. I wouldn't care how much money. For the love of money is the rule of all evil, and you can't take it with you. So people need to wake up and stop being gold diggers for money. All this stuff. Payback is a mother. And where you think you gold digging people just because they have fame or whatever like that stuff comes back to bite you in the butt too. Matter of fact, I know people that's happened to, and I have actually was a client, and a friend of mine, and she ended up suing someone for $9 million, and she said he had raped her. In my mind, I couldn't prove that this man raped her, but I knew better. I knew better because this guy was a rich guy, and she was a massage therapist, and she went to his hotel. She went to his hotel. And then I said, well, how did you sue him for $9 million? Because I hadn't seen her in a while. And then finally she caught up with me and she says, I'm rich. And I was like, you rich? I said, how did you get rich? She says, girl, this guy, this Caucasian guy, I'm a massage therapist. And he invited me to his hotel room for me to do a massage on him. And he raped me. And I said, he raped you? She said, yes. I said, but how could you prove that someone raped you and you went there to their room? She says, I had the dress. And you know what dress she was talking about? The Monica Lewinsky dress. I was like, oh my God. She says, because the attorneys, no one wanted the case at first. And finally, the attorneys, these young attorneys, they took it because they really wanted a name for themselves because they had just gotten out of school and everything. And so they said, we'll take it. We'll take your case. So I'm just telling you this stuff is to show you how people go after money. This is, I'm not going to talk about anything that I don't know. I'm talking about what facts that I know because so nobody can say, oh, she's assuming this and that. No, this is real here, real talk. And so then the girl told me that they took the case and they came back to her and they said, well, he said that he signed an affidavit saying that he did not have sex with you. The same thing Clinton told about Monica Lewinsky. It was the same type of situation. And they said, and unless we have solid evidence, we have to let this case go. We can't continue. She says, I do have evidence. And they said, what? She said, the dress with the DNA on it. And where she got the rich man was when he lied on sworn that he did the affidavit sworn that he did not have sex with that woman. She had the semen on the dress, and she was awarded immediately 9 point some $1 million. And I'm not sure if the guy was married or not. I don't know if his wife. I'm sure he was married. I think she did say he was married. He didn't want his wife to know, so they settled right out of court. Right after that, he wanted that a quick closed deal. So after that, all of a sudden, she started getting sick. And I was like, what's wrong? She said, oh, I found out I have a blood disease. And later on, I remember she invited me to meet her for lunch, and she looked so different and everything. And the next day, I heard they found her dead. So, what I'm saying, and she had all that money that she had allegedly, I would say allegedly, schemed from this rich man and did the Monica Lewinsky. So if people out there are going after money for these celebrities and using all type of schemes and scams just to get money from people, 9 times out of 10 you won't enjoy it. You won't enjoy it. It may last for a moment, but that stuff, it'll turn to mud. I remember when I was a young girl, and you know how when you go out and you have on this beautiful, beautiful outfit, oh man, you didn't want anyone to touch you. It's so pretty. And then, back in the days, people could smoke in clubs. Somebody would come by just because you thought that outfit you was the bomb and burn it with a cigarette. So what I'm saying, you just can't be thinking one way when life can be another. So yeah, so with these molesters, back to that, I was telling you the story about the girl that I knew with the money because I know for sure that girl. I know for sure. And even if you would see her, she just looked plain Jane. She wasn't, she didn't look like a hooker or anything like that. She just looked like a plain person that, wasn't flashy, no makeup, no nothing. I just couldn't believe it that she said that man raped her because she's the type of person, she's pretty tough. And I know she probably could have yelled, screamed, got out that hotel room. And that man didn't want to put his life on the line because he was married. So, but I couldn't say anything to her because I wasn't there. And all I know is she got awarded the money. And she told me the story, and the way she was telling me, I could just pick up that she was trying to say, you know what I mean? I just couldn't believe it. So if these people out here are scheming off of celebrities, that's going to come to an end. People, don't let money buy you out because you can't take it with you. Now, these molesters, you have to pay for that. I don't know how people can sleep that have done something such as that. And 9 times out of 10, you get raped in prison because those people in prison, my brother told me, they don't play that. You messing with somebody's child, well, then they're going to get you. So with that, R. Kelly's sister should be, she need to be apprehended. I mean, they need to, I don't know how they'll be able to prove it, but I guess it would have to be the same way they're going to court with the R. Kelly case. So, with that, I'm going to end my show. I said I wasn't going to talk long, but I had to give parables because that's what I like to do. I don't want to just talk off the top of my head. I want to have an example of how this stuff really can work and how people that think they're getting ahead, they're not. I don't care who it is. If they're not God, they're not getting ahead, and especially if you're doing wrong. So I'm going to end my show. Please click like, share, and subscribe, and I would appreciate that. Okay, so I'll be back with more. And